Jordan Elsey for talkSPORT MMA. Today I'm delighted to be joined by UFC's interim heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall. How's it going, mate?
All good, mate. All good. How's it going?
UFC 304 is fast approaching. The last time me and you spoke, I asked you about, the time, and it's not ideal. It's going to be 5 in the morning, something like that. And you didn't have a plan about how you're going to approach the camp. And it seems like since then you've gone off. You spoke to Leon Edwards, a few other people, and you formulated a plan. How's it all playing out so far?
Going all right. I've not started my actual preparations for that just yet. That's going to be done 2 weeks out. Apparently, you need between 10 days and 2 weeks to get used to a little time zone change up. So we can do it, no problem, mate. I'm not stressed about it. It's going to be all good. I'm fit. My body's in really, really good condition now, and I have no qualms about fighting at 4 a.m. It's actually something I've done before a few times. Like both times I fought in Abu Dhabi, I fought at about 4 or 5 a.m. and I didn't even know until the week of the fight when I arrived. So this is no big deal for me, mate. I'll master it, no problem.
Yeah, talk to me about the camp itself, the nitty gritty stuff, the days of sparring and training. You've got a great camp over there. How's it? It's kind of in the deep end now, isn't it? Just a few weeks out.
Yeah, just sparred today actually. Just fresh off the spar this morning. It's good. It's good. We're doing the hard yards at the moment. We're in the thick of it now. We've got about 3.5 weeks left. So done a fair bit of sparring at this point, and I'll sparring again Thursday, and I'll probably spar once or twice next week, and that'll be me done. Do you know what I mean? I won't be doing too much more sparring because I've done a lot, and I'm really, really in a good spot mentally and physically now. We've got a lot of big guys in the gym. Like this morning, we had 12 heavyweights in, which is pretty unheard of. Flew guys in from international and stuff. Just guys to mimic Curtis Blades and really put it on me this camp, and it's been amazing so far. It's great. I'm in really, really good shape.
And what's it like having Mick Parker and Modestus Bukauskas being a part of the camp as well? They're fighting on the same card. Is it nice to have people who are going through the same experience, all aiming for this one date and all aiming for to get the victory?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and I love that. To be honest, I really love that. You feel like, don't know, you're almost like on a mission together. You've got this mission coming up on the 27th of July where we're all going to show up. There's going to be guys flew in to fight us in our home country, and we've got to defend what we're all about. Do you know what I mean? That's what I love, that stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it, mate. And both guys are looking great as well. You know what I mean? Mick actually has the longest winning streak in the heavyweight division, believe it or not. So Mick's flying. He's got another good fight coming up that he can win. Modestus is looking great too, and I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Talking about long winning streaks, so my next question was going to be about Phil DeVries, because he's outside the UFC, but he's doing, absolute business. He's, I don't even know how long the win streak is now. Is it something like 10? He's defending that title a bunch of times, and I'm just curious from your perspective, if someone trains with him a lot, how would he do in the UFC? Like, it's hard to rank someone when they're not part of that, the main promotion, but with everything he's doing, if he come into the UFC now, where would you put him?
Yeah, he's definitely like top 10, top 15 level, 100%. Phil's had a million fights as well, so he's an absolute veteran. As you said, there's guys there who are outside of the UFC. I've got a guy coming from Brave, who's he's fighting for the title next on Brave. A guy who's a former PFL champion in the gym as well. So these guys are all like world level guys. They might not be in the UFC, they're in other organisations, but these guys could easily be ranked in the UFC as well. And just top level guys I'm working with all like day in, day out. But to answer the question, Phil's high level, man. Like, he's definitely top 15 in the world.
Yeah, it's great to hear his running. And back to you and the fight you've got coming up. You've just said you've got a load of bodies in the gym that mimicking Curtis Blades, and I imagine there's a lot of wrestling in there. After going through the process over the past few weeks, how are you feeling about the fight itself? How do you expect it to play out?
I mean, you never know. Heavyweight MMA is crazy. You absolutely never know. We're prepared for the worst, as always. Prepared for the worst, expecting the best. But I'm gonna try and knock his head off, mate. Is what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna. That's my goal. Is by winning with an absolutely outrageous first round knockout and my hand getting raised. That's the goal always. So That's what I'm going to be looking to do. Yeah.
I'll be there. I look forward to seeing that. And I just want to ask you about some things that have recently been going on in the heavyweight division. Two of your former opponents, Alexander Volkov and Sergey Pavlovich, faced off. Just before we get into the fight itself, how did you expect that to play out? And did it go how you expected?
I mean, you can see it. I could have seen it going both ways. To be honest, I could have seen Pavlovich knocking him out as well. But again, Volkov isn't to be overlooked. The guy's had about 50 fights. He's a former world champion in 2 organisations, former Bellator champ, former M1 champion as well. He's been in the top 5, top 10 of the UFC for the last 5-6 years. The guy isn't to be overlooked, so I wasn't surprised that he won, though.
And that win for you is aging beautifully, because you made it look easy. You made it look like maybe that's the end of Volkov, and he's gone on and proved that, he's still got something in the tank. So when you look back at that now, does that win just sweeter as he goes on and proves he's still a contender?
Yeah, I guess I don't really think about that kind of stuff, to be honest. I knew that both guys are like elite level guys going into the fights, you know what I mean? Volkov's really good, Pavlovich is really good, and yeah, both wins have aged pretty good. As you said, I beat both guys in a combined time of under 5 minutes. So yeah, it's just making me look good, to be honest. But I knew both guys were elite when I fought them, and I still think they're elite now. So we're all going to fight each other again at some point anyway. So it's all good.
Brilliant. And another opponent, it looks like it's the end of him, Andrei Arlovski. He lost on the weekend by decision, and Dana White kind of said that's his last one in the UFC. Something that come off the back of that, with Arlovski off the roster now, is an interesting stat or just fact that I want to get your opinion on. Stipe Miocic hasn't beat anyone on the UFC roster that is still on it. Just want to get your opinion on that, and obviously the fact that he's going to go and fight John Jones in November.
Yeah, that's crazy. And someone else told me about that this morning as well. Yeah, that's absolutely wild the way that's going on. But just to add, the guy who beat Arlovski, Martin Budé, was training with us for this camp as well. So big shout out to Martin. Good win for Martin. As you said, Arlovski's right at the end of his career, 44 years old, 45 years old. So former champion, good win for Martin. And absolutely wild that Stipe Miocic is fighting for a heavyweight title but hasn't actually beat anyone who's currently in the UFC. That is a wild stat. It's absolutely crazy.
It's absolutely mental. And someone else on that card, Alex Pereira, we've got to speak about him, because I know there has been some hesitancy from you to call him out, because 1 minute he's talking about heavyweight, the next minute he's happy at light heavyweight. But I feel like after that win on the weekend, he mentioned heavyweight, Dana mentioned heavyweight. It seems that's the way they're going, and now it kind of opens the door for you to call him out, or potentially speak about getting a fight with him in the future.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen with me, I'm not shying away from anybody. So if the UFC want to do that, I'm more than happy to do it. But I think as an elite level fighter myself, you can't help but be impressed with what Alex Pereira has done over the past couple of years. You know what I mean? This time, a few years ago, no one knew who he was, and now he's like one of the biggest stars in MMA, one of the best fighters in UFC history, and I really, really respect what he's done. Does that mean that I don't want to fight him? No, I absolutely want to fight him, but I'm sure there'll be a time and a place for it. I'm not jumping ahead of things right now. I'm fighting Curtis Blades now, and if that's what the UFC want to do one day, then we'll absolutely do it.
That's fun. And another fun one, it's been a little while now, but I know you've been in the gym with Eddie Hall a little bit, and I'm sure you've seen a video of him knocking out them 2 poor lads. I just want to get your opinion on what he did in that 2v1 fight.
I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it, yeah. It's good viewing. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, isn't he? If he starts letting fists fly with 2 guys, I mean, it was interesting. I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on it, to be honest. I just think, yeah, if you're going to run into Eddie Hall like that, that's, it's going to happen. He's a 170 kilo guy. If you run into him full blast and he throws a punch at you, you're definitely going to sleep.
I know, they had the right tactic at the start. They avoided, and then just lost their minds in the final round. With someone like Eddie Hall, does he carry on, from your opinion, should he carry on just doing them freak show fights and kind of making his money relatively easily, or go in with someone like, I think he called out Pudsey at one point as well, so he's got this decision to make now. What way would you advise him to go in?
Well, Eddie's never going to be an actual good level MMA fighter because, for one, he's in his mid-30s. Two, he's been doing strongman all his life, so he's completely the wrong size and shape to be like a good level. And I think he should, with Eddie, it's always going to be, he's never going to fight someone 3-0 like a contender or a prospect. Like, he's never going to do that. He's always going to fight someone that's got a bit of a freak show angle on it. Even Pudzianowski, like, he's had a lot of MMA fights, but he's still not really a good level MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? That's a fight that I definitely watch, and I think it's a fight that Eddie can win as well. I've seen a fair bit of Pudzianowski, and I don't really rate him, so I think that'd be interesting. Maybe let Eddie have a normal fight against one guy rather than two, and then have him fight Pudzianowski. I think that'd be interesting.
Love it. Thank you for your time today, mate. Good luck with the rest of the camp. Hopefully we'll speak again soon, but if not, I'll be there on fight night and can't wait to watch.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.